What is up, my people? My name is Stifflered, and welcome back to the Cafe, where we talk about tools, tips, and tricks to take your Minecraft creations to the next level. I am, of course, back on my Tree Crafters Challenge survival server, here to talk with you about 5 more tips to get your Minecraft server going in a really spectacular way. These are 5 small things that you should do right now on your Minecraft server if you haven't already, just to give it a little extra spark of life. The very first thing that I think that you should consider doing with your Minecraft server is creating a color scheme. As you can see here, I am using blues and greens, but on some servers they use a lot more reds and whites, like Dare to Survive, and others use more purples or pinks. Whatever color scheme it is that you use, try to go throughout your server and make changes to the different GUIs, the lore, the rules, the automatic chat messages that pop up, and have them all fit that same color scheme. Again, you can see some greens there. You can also see them in all of the different messages that I have being sent out from my Parrot Announcer plugin. I use the same greens and blues in most of the messages, except the one that's really important for everybody to know about, where I use red and yellow. But since that one's so different than all the others, it is sure to stand out. You should also look into changing the colors of your tab list and the welcome message that shows up whenever a player logs onto the server. In fact, there's one right there that just popped up. Having a color scheme doesn't really change how the game plays for people, but it helps to set the tone, and it lets your players know that you're really taking this seriously and you have a lot of attention to detail. Something else that you should definitely consider for creating great first impressions with new players is change up that /help. This is the default /help, and it's really not all that useful for new players. It gives you all of these 38 pages of commands, or however many that you have with all of your plugins, and nobody wants to go through all of those. And most of the time, those commands aren't available for all of the players anyway, especially if you have all of your permissions set up correctly. Instead of showing that standard long list of less than useful commands, why not change it up a little bit? I like to use a custom GUI, which I've built using the Hydra plugin, and this gives people access to their account settings, and they can even see their game stats, they can launch certain features, visit the wiki, learn more about the game, see popular commands, all types of cool things right here in a nice and simple GUI. Of course, if a GUI really isn't your thing, then you can just put in a custom message that shows to the player. Maybe it gives a link to your website or your forums, or even your Discord server. Either way, just change up that /help command to provide something useful for players rather than a really long list of commands that they can't even access. For the third thing, you should really think about creating a public profile where your players can find out about you, even if they don't log onto the server all the time. This can, of course, be a website where you might have forums and a lot of activity and conversations going on between you and the other players, or maybe an Instagram page where you can post different updates. Even a YouTube channel or playlist like this one that I have here on my own channel, where I get to update players on new features that are coming to the server and even show off some of those features, custom commands, items, recipes, whatever it might be, all in one place. The important part here is that this is a publicly accessible place where they can find news about your server. You don't want to require players to have to log on to the game or onto a Discord chat or anything like that to be able to get the latest news. Provide a way for them to get access really easily online in some way that is accessible to them. When it comes to plugins, I can tell you that less is more. If you have too many plugins, then your staff are going to be confused about what they should do, what commands they should use, and you aren't going to know everything that's going on your server either. So get the number of plugins down to a minimum. And honestly, most of the plugins that you have installed probably aren't going to be used by most of your players anyway. Get them down to just the bare necessities and add all the cool stuff in a little later. A good place to start with reducing the number of plugins is looking at the number of chat modification plugins that you might have installed, or particle plugins, pet plugins, Even looking at some Essentials alternatives, I've seen a lot of servers that have Essentials, Essentials X, CMI, all types of plugins that do a lot of the same things installed on their servers, and you just don't need all of that. It's bogging down your server and taking up precious ticks per second. The fifth small thing that I think you can do on your Minecraft server to help improve the experience for all of your players is to host events. For example, every week I like to host a server party. This is just a really simple idea. It doesn't need to be a giveaway. It doesn't need to be some crazy, drop party or anything like that. I just host a server party every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern on my server, and that just lets all of the players know that they can get on and hang out together. Events are about more than just giving away prizes or getting people to donate. It's about creating community with your players and letting them know that they can all hang out together and have a really good time. This is especially important if you have a small server. You don't want your players to be getting on randomly and they're always by themselves, because other players get on when they aren't online. So instead of just relying on hope that they're going to randomly show up on the server at the same time and hang out and not be alone, and then eventually leave the server for another more popular place to go and play, well, why don't you create a time for them to hang out together? That's the entire purpose of my server party, and it works wonders. Every week we get between 5 and 15 players all hanging out together at the same time, sometimes more. And it's a really great time, and it lets people know, hey, the server is alive and well and kicking. That's all I've got for you today, guys. Those are 5 small tips to help you improve the experience for you and your players on your Minecraft server. I hope that you enjoyed. I certainly did. And I will see you all next week for another 5x5 video. Be sure to leave a comment down below with some simple tips that you might have for other server owners, so that they can help create a great gameplay experience for their players as well. Thanks again for watching today, guys. It's been a real pleasure. I'll see you all next time. Peace.